Hi, this is the Australian Aura Guy. This is episode 3 of a continuing discussion of auras, and in this session we'll be looking at the complement and the context of an aura. And by that, we're looking at what happens if you get more than one aura come through. Auras are quite complex. They are a reflection of where the metaphysical soul is of someone. So it's less about the physical in their world, it's more about how their soul's reacting to the events in the physical and metaphysical space. With that, you rarely get a solid one colour reading of an aura. It's more nuanced than that. There might be 2, 3, 4 colours. So if you're seeing 2 or more colours, how do you interpret and work with that? And I find what's best to look at is understand the complementary colours. So to go back a couple of steps, when we discussed colours, we talked about how there were some colours that worked, I guess, more together. So if you saw a light blue, that's positive male energy, and if you saw a light pink, that's positive female energy. And so quite often you might see those two together, perhaps, and what that is that's someone who is in a very loving and supported place. There's a lot of discussions about love and feelings and a lot of talking about it, but there's also a lot of showing it. There's a lot of hugs, a lot of kisses, a lot of good, positive actions relating to love. And other complementary colours can be red and orange. Orange being determination, red being passion. So one fuels the other. Now you can also see blue. If I get a dark blue and then I get a dark green, then I'm looking at someone who is physically balanced and metaphysically balanced. So you can see that it's possible that some colours come through together, not necessarily paired up distinctly, but if something's going in one particular direction, quite often there'll be another colour coming in afterwards to complement that and to really reinforce the message. So the way I look at auras when I see 2 or more colours is, first of all, you want to understand what's the dominant colour. Is there a dominant colour? Are they kind of mixed together? Are they strict together? What does that mean? How do we work out, how do we understand if we see red and blue together, what that looks like? Well, we go back to our colours and we say, okay, well, what do those colours mean? But more importantly, which one am I noticing first? If I'm noticing red first, well, that means that's the driver. And then the blue is the, I guess, passenger. It's the complement. It's the one that's rounding out the aura. So what are they telling you? What are the auras really helping you understand? And when we look at shades as well, we look at the shades of the aura. So as we said before, a bright yellow might be sunflower and it might be positive health, which is great, and a mustard yellow, a different shade of yellow, is illness. Sometimes the shades can be more broadly read as an indication of perhaps a deficiency or something that's not quite there with an aura. So, example, if you're looking at an orange that's more of a light orange, I would be reading that as someone who is more needing to focus on determination. They're conscious that it's there, they know they need to be focused, they know they need to set goals to work towards them, but they're not quite there yet. And so what I'm looking for there in terms of the context is, if I see someone with a bright red aura and a light orange aura, all of a sudden I'm noticing that, well, the red aura is taking over, the passion's taking over, and that's putting someone at a disadvantage with their determination, with their focus. So they're so passionate about something they're not actually focusing on it. So what we're looking to understand with complement and context is we're looking to understand, well, what happens when we see two aura colours together, but also what happens if they're two, perhaps, aura colours we're not used to seeing together. So if we had a silver aura colour and an orange aura colour, what would that mean? Well, that would mean it's determination, but it's also looking at angelic messages. And so that one you would read as going, okay, well, that's really showing you that the messages that you're getting from your guides, from your angels, are helping, keeping you determined, keeping you focused. And then you could also say that, well, the determination you have in a particular area is being reinforced by the messages, the guides, and so on. So you can kind of read it whichever way, but it's whichever way feels more natural to you. So by that we're looking at what really resonates with the person who's reading it. And that's something, you obviously then need to discuss with the person you're talking to, of what the aura looks like, what colours you're seeing, how they interact, and more importantly, and this is perhaps moving on a step, but how to interpret that moving forward. So you want to give it some context as well, of saying, okay, well, there's a dark green aura which is metaphysically balanced, but there's a yellow aura which is healthy. So that's actually a really good indication that you're in good physical health and you're taking care of your metaphysical needs and you're balanced and you're where you need to be in relation to looking at keeping yourself in alignment. One thing we also need to understand as well is that the different aura colours and different shades can interplay together in different ways. So sometimes they might be stacked on top of each other, sometimes they're pulled together and they mix together. You might notice certain patterns in the aura itself, so it might be perhaps swirls, or it might be, there might be diagonals across it. That is more up to the individual, because what you're seeing there is your next step of aura interpretation. So it's about understanding, if you see different things, what does that mean? What are you seeing constantly or continuously with an aura or with a particular colour? And let your mind, just like we did with colours, let your mind go back and really help you and let your guides guide you towards what that means. So once we give it some context, once we give it some meaning, and we can articulate what that does, the next step, and we'll cover this shortly, is change. How to use what we've seen, what we've interpreted in relation to timelines, in relation to strength, in relation to colours, and how to impact the next step more practically towards moving forward. So we'll cover that off very shortly, but for now, thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to our next session, which will be on change. Thank you.